Does losing weight make you happier? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Hadley's High Carb Kitchen. My name is Hadley, and I started this channel in an effort to combat low calorie diets, 1200 calorie diets, and calorie restriction all around. So today I wanted to talk about, does losing weight make you happy? If you get to your ideal weight, are you going to be happy? Are you going to feel fulfilled? Are you going to fill that void in your life that you think you're missing? And if not, what can you focus on instead of weight loss? So I wanted to start off with talking about a personal story of mine. So back before I had my daughter, I was very obsessed with exercise, with weight loss, with being a certain size, and I always kind of yo-yoed. I was on like high protein diets even as a vegan, and my weight kind of went like this, and I was restricting, and I just didn't feel very good overall. So what did I do? I decided I was going to adopt a high carb, low fat vegan diet, regardless of if I was going to gain weight or not, which I assumed was what was going to happen. But what ended up happening was I ended up actually getting rather lean and having more energy and just feeling better overall because I increased my calories to match my output. And when I got to a body weight that I felt was ideal, did that actually make me happier? Or any time that I got to a body weight that I thought was ideal, no, it did not make me happier, because my weight was never the issue. My issue was that I just felt like I needed something in my life that I had more control over, and obsessing over my weight and focusing on my weight was a way for me to take back, I guess, more control in my life where it felt like it was out of control. The other issue was that even though I felt like I was at an ideal weight and I mostly liked the way I looked, I always felt like, oh, I could be leaner, it could be better, I could look like this person or that person, which isn't realistic, because I have a certain body type that isn't going to match up with someone else who is petite and tiny, like Freely. Freely, for example, I will never look like Freely because I just have a bigger bone structure than she does, and that's okay, and we have to accept, the genetics that we have and be happy with that. But to me, it was always like, I could be fitter, I could be leaner, I could have more visible abs at the time, not realizing that having visible abs like that is actually not very healthy for a woman in terms of your hormonal health. It's more healthy for women to have a little bit more softer look to ourselves and not have such low body fat percentage like men. So yeah, losing the weight never made me happy. It never got me to the place where I thought I needed to be, because I was just missing out on life, focusing so much on how I looked and trying to be leaner and trying to be thinner and just trying to be basically something that I'm not, wanting to have a different body type than what I have. And not saying that there's anything wrong with my body type, it's just like I suffered from a lot of body dysmorphia, so to me it was never going to be good enough. I was never going to be thin enough. My hips were too wide, my thighs were too big, my legs were too big, just silly things which aren't true, but you tell yourselves these things when you are not happy with your body or the way that you are looking, and you're constantly looking for something else in your life to improve your life. Like, I know I've had these thoughts where it's like, well, if I was thinner, people would like me more, or if I was thinner, my life would just be easier. I don't know why I would think that this, losing weight had anything to do with the way that people would like my personality, or I feel like they would like me better, or that my life would somehow magically get better just because I lost weight, because it's not true. The things that have made my life better now, now that I'm back to a good weight, is not focus, like I don't have the time to focus so much on how I'm looking. It's more like how I'm feeling, how I'm performing, because now that I'm a mom, I just don't have time to obsess over these things so much anymore. And that's a good thing. And, you know, having family and having consistency in my life, and, you know, being at a place where I'm able to put myself on YouTube and talk about these things, because honestly, I feel like my life purpose is to help people, help the planet, help the animals. That's what I've always wanted to do, but I've always been too afraid of the way that people were going to perceive me. But, you know, you kind of, people are going to push back regardless. Anyways, that's not the point of this video. The point is that you need to find purpose in life, like purpose and family and love and you know, that kind of thing is what's going to enhance your life, not your physical appearance. Now, I say this when I'm talking about your physical appearance won't improve your life. I'm talking about someone who is already relatively lean, healthy, you know, and is obsessing over wanting to have like the perfect physique. I'm not talking about someone who is overweight or obese, whose life would most likely be improved by a little bit of weight loss, like health-wise, physical-wise, they'd be able to move a little bit better, that kind of thing. So yes, if you are in that situation, your life is going to probably improve just because you're able to do more things and you're going to feel better and, you know, that kind of stuff. What I'm more speaking of is if you are at a, you know, generally normal BMI or healthy weight, then, you know, but you are obsessing over needing to be a certain size or having a certain look or whatever. I'm here to tell you that it's not worth it, and it's not going to make you happier. You might just find yourself wanting more. But I think it's important that we slow down and we accept, you know, who we are, where we are, and just try to continue forward, trying to make yourself a better person, a more helpful person, and, you know, finding your purpose in life, whatever that may be, is what is going to make you happier. So what, if we're not supposed to focus on so much on our weight, what should we focus on then, in order to, you know, bring this happiness into your life? So I guess that's going to be an individual thing, but I think it's important when you are, you know, trying to improve your physique, is to not obsess over the way you look and not obsess over the scale, and just I personally found it very helpful to have fitness goals and to kind of focus on those within reason, not becoming someone who overtrains too much. You know, slow and steady wins the race kind of thing. So for me, I've really been focusing on like I guess if you are into weightlifting, you could focus on trying to get stronger within reason. You know, not overtraining, not hurting yourself, not trying to lift too much too soon. It's a process. Everything is a process, and it doesn't just happen overnight. Or if you're a runner like myself, I'm trying to get faster because I have a couple of races coming up. I have some 5Ks. I have a 20K relay race coming up. So for me, trying to like become faster and more efficient when running, having better posture, having better VO2 max, being able to run effectively without, you know, injuring myself, doing a little bit of weight training, that kind of thing, to help me get towards my end goal, which is running faster, more efficiently, and more safer, you know, is better than focusing on, you know, how much weight can I lose, how many calories am I burning if I do this, and blah, blah, blah. That kind of thing is not, in my opinion, is not productive to, you know, your weight loss or your mental health, because you just end up obsessing over it. And like I said, it's really not going to bring you happiness. It's probably just going to end up bringing you frustration in the end. So yeah, focusing on, you know, health or fitness goals is really important for you to kind of like, you know, having goals in general is really good, because you have something to focus on that is not weight related in this instance. Another thing is, focusing on how you feel. Do you feel good? Do you have energy? Like, are you able to keep up with your everyday life? Are you able to keep up with your kids if you have kids? Are you able to perform well at your job? Those things are all really important and good indicators of if you are at a good place with your health. Is your mental health good? Is it stable? Are you in an okay place with your food? Like, are you able to eat food and feel comfortable and not stressed with the food that you are eating? Are you able to not obsess over counting calories? I recommend, like most high carb, low fat is to track your calories once in a while, just to make sure that you're getting enough. Because for myself, sometimes I am not a very good judge of how many calories I'm intaking, and like I've mentioned before, if I don't get in enough calories to keep up with my lifestyle, I feel sluggish, I don't have very good mood, and I don't sleep well at night, which affects the prior two things. The sleep is a big one. Like, if I do not get in close to 3,000 calories a day, I don't sleep very well. Like, I will wake up at like 2 in the morning hungry, because I just haven't consumed enough calories to keep up with my lifestyle, and cortisol is pushing me out of bed saying, hey, you need some food, go look for some food. But yeah, so just keeping in mind that you need to focus on your health, your performance, have goals, and make sure that your mental health is doing well, because that's also very, very important. Making sure that you're not obsessing over the scale, because you know what? Your weight is the least interesting thing about you as a person. Are people going to judge you on how you look? Of course they are, because people judge you. That's just what people do. But if you're at a good place, if you're, say, at a place where you started eating high carb, low fat, and you have gained some weight like I did and many others have done in the past, but you're feeling good and you're really enjoying your food, and you're building and healing that relationship with your food, then that's really the important thing. And if you're focusing on getting fitter, and having goals and that kind of thing, then that's really the most important thing, to focus on here, and not so much your weight. Because, like I said, you're always going to feel, if you're like me, that you can be thinner, you can be fitter, you can be, you could look better, you could have more visible abs, which again is not healthy as a woman. But you're always going to, if you base your happiness just on your weight and how you look, it's not, you're probably, not going to be happy, because looks fade, your body changes, you have a baby, you get an injury, you're not always going to look the same. If you eat a high carb, low fat, plant-based diet, it's going to go a long way in helping you maintain a lean, healthy body, but you might not always be as jacked as you want to be, or as fast as you want to be. So you have to find other things in your life that are going to make you happy, that are going to bring you fulfillment, because I think fulfillment and purpose are really what we're searching for here, and in connection. It's really important that we stay connected with each other, because we live in a society now that is really so connected but so disconnected. We're so connected through the internet, but we're not really establishing those personal relationships like we would have done in the past. And that's very, very important. We humans are, creatures of, we need other people around us. Like, we are social creatures, and those kind of connections are very important for us to maintain. So, just keeping, I know this is a lot. There's a lot of things to focus on, but you really got to sit down and think about, what do I want out of life, and what can I do to help others is really important. I feel like you will find a lot of purpose by figuring out how you can help others and not just thinking constantly about yourself. And you know, because it feels good to help others. It feels good to you know, be kind to others and help someone in need. So yeah, you just kind of find your why, I guess. Like, what is it that you're here for? What is it that you feel like you need to do in order to find that fulfillment? So you're not just constantly like focusing on how you look or your outward appearance, because, you know, like I said, looks fades or they change depending on your life situation, circumstances. So it's good to find something else that you can focus on. Now I'm getting repetitive here, so I'm probably going to end this video, but I just wanted to come on here and talk about that because it's something I think about a lot, because I did put a ton of weight into how I was looking, and that was my like main focus, and my, you know, health was kind of secondary, which is never good. But yeah, so if you find that you're kind of obsessing over weight, or you feel like it's never good enough, you got to think about, like, you know, what am I procrastinating from, and or what am I trying to cover up by obsessing over the way I look and whatnot, and why do I feel like this is the ultimate thing that's going to bring me happiness? Because I guarantee you'll probably get there and you'll be like, oh, well, I'm thinner and I, you know, mostly like the way I look, but, you know, it hasn't overly improved my life in the way that I thought it was going to. Okay, if you guys have ever felt this way, or if you guys have ever felt this way, or you found yourself obsessing over weight, or maybe you've lost the weight and you've just been like, oh, well, this isn't what I wanted, this isn't bringing me happiness and joy, and my life isn't perfect and magical like I imagined it was going to be. Yeah, just leave a comment down below. It would be good to talk about, because I think this is kind of an important thing, because a lot of the time we are pushed, especially as women, to put a lot of weight on our weight, like the focus on that, and that's supposed to be like what defines us. But like I said, your weight is really the least interesting thing about you. Yes, it can be a general marker for health, but we don't need to obsess about it, and we don't need to strive constantly for this perfect physique, because if you're eating healthy and you're feeling good, the physique, the physical, what am I trying to say here? The aesthetics, there we go. The aesthetics will come with time if you're eating a high carb, low fat, plant-based diet, mostly whole foods, taking in, you know, processed carbs here and there, of course, and, you know, just living your life and trying to contribute. Yeah, so that's all I want to come on here to say. I hope you guys take very good care, and bye!